Okay, this is set 10 and this is Monday. So we're going to start with number 1. It says order the following numbers using greater than or less than. So again, guys, we're always going to think money. So if we cover up the thousandths place, we have 11 cents. So we're going to write that underneath here. We're going to cover up the thousandths. We have 10 cents. So we're going to write that here. We're going to cover up the thousandths and we have 42 cents. Okay, so we've got 11 cents. Is 11 cents greater than or less than 10 cents? Well, we know 11 cents is 1 cent more, so it's going to be greater than. We've got 10 cents. Is 10 cents less than or greater than 42 cents? Well, that one's really easy because obviously 10 is way less than 42. Remember, you can always stack these as well. Okay, you can also compare stacking, and sometimes you need to do that, but usually thinking money is a way faster and easier, I think. So you can stack them. We've got a 1 here, a 1 here, and a 4 here. So obviously you know this is the greatest. We've got 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, a 0 here. So you know this one's less than this one. So that's another way that we can compare. Okay. It says Kara walked 2 4/5 miles on Tuesday. She walked 1 3/10 miles on Thursday. Draw a picture and write an equation to find the number of miles she walked on both days. So if we're looking for both days that she walked, we're looking for total. Okay, so we know that M is going to equal 2 4/5 plus 1 3/10. We know we're doing addition. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this on the board so you guys can see it big. All right. So we have, let me move this right here. We have 2 4/5 plus 1 3/10. You guys, we treat this just like we treat fractions. Okay, we're always going to put them vertically, so we can circle our biggest denominator, and then we can ask ourselves, does 5 go into 10? Is 5 a factor of 10? Well, it is. So if the answer to that is yes, remember we're looking for a common denominator because we can't add fractions without a common denominator. So if 5 is a factor of 10, that makes it easy. Whatever number you've circled is your common denominator. So we didn't change this 10, so we're not going to change our 3. How do we get from 5 to 10? Times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. We are adding, so 8 plus 3 is 11. Okay, we're going to stop right here because we know this is what? It's improper. So we're going to turn this into a mixed number. Remember, this is 11 divided by 10. So how many times does 10 go into 11? It goes in 1 time. 1 times 10 is only 10, and we need 1 more to get to 11. Our denominator never changes. So this is the answer to our fraction part of our mixed number. But we're not done yet because we haven't done our whole numbers, okay? So we have 2 plus 1 is 3. So we have both of these answers that we need to do what? Add together. So that's going to give us 3 plus 1 is 4, and our fraction is 1/10. We know we can't reduce this because we have a 1 in our numerator, and there's not a number smaller than 1. So our answer for what they did for both days is 4 1/10 miles. All right. We are going to factor our 45. Remember, we always add these digits together first, so 4 plus 5 is 9. We do that to see if 3 is going to be a factor of 45 and if 9 is going to be a factor of 45. Well, 3 and 9 are both factors of 9, so we know 3 and 9 are both going to be in our factor, okay, in our factoring. All right, again, we always start with 1. 1 times 45 is 45. Our second question is always, is this odd or even? Well, it's odd because it ends in a 5, so we know all the even factors are out. So all we have to check is 3, 5, 7, and 9. We already know 3 and 9 are going to be here. So is 3 a factor? Yes, so we can write it down. This is how we divide. 3 goes into 4 1 time, but 3 times 1 is only 3, so we have 1 left over, so we put our little 1 right there. 3 goes into 15 5 times, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So 3 times 15 is 45. We know 4 is out because it's even. We go to a 5. Well, we know 5 is a factor because 45 ends in a 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So we know 5 times 9 is 45. Will we check our 7? 7, 14, 21, 28, and 35, 42, 49. So 7 is not a factor. Our next number is 9. Well, we already have it, so we know we're done. So 45 has 6 factors. We know it's composite because if it has more than 2, it already is composite. Okay? All right, we are looking at number 4. It says, what is the difference in the area? Well, if we're finding difference, we know that's going to be subtraction. And if we're finding area, we have to remember that the formula for area is area equals length times width. That's our formula. So if we're finding the difference in these areas, the first thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to find the areas for both figures. So if area equals length times width, that means we have area equals 27 times 34. So we're going to multiply those two numbers together. 7 times 4 is 28, carry the 2. 7 times 3 is 21, 22, 23. We're done with our 7. We put our 0 placeholder. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. We add 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. 6 plus 2 is 8. So the area of our first triangle is 818 inches squared. Then we have the area for our second one. So area is still length times width. So this time we have 41 times 18. So 41 times 18, 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 4 is 32. Cross out our 8, put our 0 placeholder. 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 4 is 4. We are adding 8 plus 0 is 8, 2 plus 1 is 3, and 4 plus 3 is 7. So 738. So area equals 738 inches squared. But we're finding the what? We're finding the difference. So if we're finding the difference, we have to subtract these two numbers. So our biggest number needs to go on the top if we're subtracting. Okay, remember we subtract differently. So 8 minus 7 is 1, but does our friend need help? Yes. So we take that 1 away, we subtract 1 away and give it to our friend, which left us with 0. 11 minus 3 is 8. Does our friend need help? No, because we have double numbers. So this is an 8, and then 8 minus 8 is 0. So the difference between these two areas for our answer is 80 inches. And don't forget it's squared because we are talking about area. All right, which point is 6 units right and 2 units up from the coordinate 1, 6? Well, first, remember this is our x and this is our y. If we're finding this answer, we have to first plot our 1, 6. Okay, so remember we always start at the origin. Our x coordinate is a 1. That's our walking. This is always our x. This is always our y. Remember y to the sky. That's going to be your vertical. So we're going from the origin over 1, and then we're going up 6. So this is the plot that we're talking about. So then we can work backwards. Which point is 6 units right? So we're going to start here, and we're going to go 6 units to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to pause right here. And then it says, and 2 units up. So we're going to go 1, 2. Well, that's our T, so this is the answer. But it says which point? Well, it's point T, but let's go ahead and put the coordinates for it. We're going to start at the origin. We're going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to go up to 8. So the coordinate for this is 7, 8. All right, William worked 80 hours at $25 per hour. What was his gross income? Well, remember, gross is the total that you actually make, not what you get, but what you make. So we're going to multiply 80 times 25. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 8 is 40. We cross out our 5. We add our 0 placeholder. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. we add 0, 0. 6 plus 4 is 10, carry the 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So his gross income is $2,000. Okay. It says he had the following deductions. Remember, if we're deducting something off of our check, that means it's coming out. It's being subtracted, okay? So we have federal income tax is $151.25, Social Security is $87.25, Medicare is $856, and health insurance is $68.24. What is his net? Remember, net is what you get, and that means we have to subtract all of these numbers off of our gross. So we're going to need to add all these together first. Remember, guys, when we add, we have to line up our decimals. So I have 151 and 25 cents. I've got 87 and 25 cents. I've got $8.56. And I've got $68.24, okay? So we're always going to look for tens, which makes this real easy because we have 10 here, we have 20 here, so we put our 0, we carry our 2. We can look for tens or we can count by twos first. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Carry the 1. I'm going to go ahead and bring my decimal down so I don't forget. I'm looking for tens. I have 8 plus 2, so that's 10. I've got another 8, so that's 18. I need 2 from this 7 to make 20. So if I take 2 from that 7 to make 20, I have 5 left over, so that makes 25. So I'm going to carry my 2. I'm looking for tens again. I've got 10, and I've got another 11, so that's 21. Carry my 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So when I do all my subtraction, I have $315.30. So $315.30 is what all of this added up to be. But if I'm finding my net, I have to deduct all this from my paycheck. So I'm going to have to do one more subtraction problem. So I've got my $2,000 of gross income. I'm subtracting my $315.30. Okay, we subtract from the left, so 2 minus nothing is 2. We know our friend needs help, so we're going to subtract 1 off, which leaves us 1, and give that extra to our friend. 10 minus 3 is 7. We know we need help, so that's going to be 6. Give our help. We've got 10 minus 1 is 9. We know our friend needs help, so we subtract 1 off. We give our friend help. We've got 10 minus 5 is 5, but we already know our friend needs help, so we subtract 1 off and put a 4. Give our friend help. 10 minus 3 is 7. 0 minus 0 is 0. Bring our decimals straight down, and our net income is $1,684.70.